So, thanks a lot for joining us for today's discussion on video games. My name is Christian De Bono, and I'm a member of the Wicked Comics Committee. This year, unfortunately, we could not organize the Malta Comic Con, but we decided to organize the Pop Culture Online Fest. And for today's discussion on video games, we have an amazing panel. We have Rachel Fitt, an amazing video gamer. We have Kevin Duca and Isaac Polderini from the very active Nintendo Gamers Malta. We have David De Battista and William Kakia from Game Defined, a really cool video games podcast. And we also have Neville Bedzina from Pop Culture Rush, a new podcast covering all things related to pop culture. So, just to start us a bit on the discussion, it's been a very strange year with the pandemic, and
Bloody right.
somehow we made it through. But at the same time, we found a lot more time. We found a lot more time on our hands to play video games. So I would like to ask our panel, what have you been playing in the last year, and what was your gaming highlight in the last year? So let's start with Kevin. Kevin, what have you been playing in the last year?
Right. Well, I mean, from a Nintendo perspective, there was a game that I think was everyone's like lockdown buddy, and that would be Animal Crossing: New Horizons. Great game. Like, also gives you a sense of routine, and I think people lost that a bit during the pandemic. So that was pretty good as well. My own personal highlight was Xenoblade Chronicles that got re-released on the Switch. The original, of course, was on the Wii. That was my favorite game on the Wii. So to see it again on the Switch, plus also extra content there, that was amazing. Also, a really, really good collector's edition. Europe got the best collector's edition, even better than Japan. So that was pretty awesome. Even games on other platforms, there was for me Ghost of Tsushima on the PS4, which I think was my personal game of the year. Amazing title. Try it out, guys.
Nice.
I still have to play it. It's there and it's plastic.
Isaac, what have you been playing in the last year, and what was your highlight for the year?
So in terms of Nintendo games, I've mostly been playing Smash because that's my go-to game in general. I'm a Smash player and also a competitive one, so I get to grind a lot on it, especially with the new DLC we get. That our most recent DLC was Steve from Minecraft, so that's a very, very chaotic character. But
The weirdest one.
Exactly. Well,
controversial bit too.
But there's also another game that I've been playing, especially recently, Pokemon Sword and Shield. They got the new DLC, the Crown Tundra and the Isle of Armor. And the Crown Tundra DLC is actually really fun. They added some new multiplayer stuff, so you can play with friends. It's actually really interesting how they made the Dynamax adventure.
I need to check that out actually myself.
Yeah, and to be honest, it made the game much more better for me. I didn't really enjoy Pokemon Sword and Shield that much on release. So yeah,
I still have to finish it, in fact.
Yeah.
I never had the incentive after some time. But if you say the DLC is better.
Well, with the DLC, here's the funny thing. With the DLC, you only have to play like for the first hour, and then you can just go for the DLC. So you can have a Suicune when you have no gym badges. Or like a legendary. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It's really funny.
Really cool.
But anyway, other games I've been playing, though, since we're in lockdown, we were in lockdown, I had a lot of backlog on JRPGs, and I wanted to clear them, like games like Yakuza. I also cleared Persona 5, especially since this year there was the remastered version of Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal. But yeah, mostly just clearing up backlog, and hey, I'm having a good time clearing it.
Cool, thanks. And what about you, Will? What have you been playing?
For me, unlike other people who did have the free time to play a ton of other games, I was not blessed with such a blessing. as a PC gamer and having, a means of trying to maintain some sort of social communication due to lockdown, a lot of us at work, or some of us at work, we were playing some MMOs. In most common case, WoW, obviously, World of Warcraft. And Blizzard really worked it brilliantly, because during lockdown they were doing some experience boosting, so it was actually easy to level up if you wanted to start from the beginning. So they gave incentive to get people to start again, and they had such a massive boom.
That's really good.
No, it was wise from them.
Very smart.
Another game, but then it's weird to say I played it more for the single player experience, but it is also an MMO. Which is Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, has the better plot at the moment. Now we'll see what Final Fantasy XVI will be. But the last expansion, Shadowbringers, has been such a ride, and I'm close to finishing it also. So I'm looking forward to that. If I can also mention something slightly different, that is entirely different, which is not an MMO, I have to say it because for nostalgia's sake, Command & Conquer Remastered came out this year, and it's been such a blast to play it. I even streamed it a bit, and it's just fun being terrible in front of everyone, in front of friends.
It has a very big fan base, Command & Conquer.
Oh, young me just enjoyed seeing the old cutscenes. It has that sort of comic feel, it's serious but not so serious at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. But if you see Red Alert, for example, you can tell what I mean. It's just fun all along. But
it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Exactly. It's just good old fun, arcade RTS, and it was so good, and I can't wait for them to do the rest of the franchise if they're going to do so. So nothing yet, but I hope they do. Red Alert 2, please.
David, what have you been playing? And what was your highlight for this year?
Well, the highlight was Last of Us, definitely. Need for Speed, Ace Combat. These are usually games that I wouldn't they weren't on my top 2 playlist, but given the situation, I managed to play them. So what happened is, with COVID, sort of you get more free time, so you get to catch up to the backlog of games that you would say, oh, I played that one time I played it. Obviously, there were a lot of great games as well this year. I mean, Cyberpunk being delayed. Last of Us 2, Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima has recently released the multiplayer. So at the moment I'm grinding
the Legends one, right?
Yes, yeah. Legends. And funnily enough, I'm a big PS gamer, usually PlayStation is what I play. But I got the chance to play Sea of Thieves and Frostpunk, which are PC games. So
Xbox Game Pass, those, right?
Yes, through the Xbox.
Did you end up taking a lot of photos in Ghost of Tsushima as well? I heard that became a big pastime.
Yes. It was
any game like that needs photo mode.
Yeah, it's just it's like gorgeous, honestly. Like, it's so atmospheric.
I heard it's one of the best things of the game, which is quite.
I saw photos from Kevin online. They look bloody gorgeous, so it does show.
It is.
Rachel, what have you been playing in the last year, and what was your favorite game for, let's say, during lockdown, during the last month?
So lockdown has basically given me the opportunity to try Souls games, which I've been meaning to try for ages, but I've always held a bit back because of the risk of breaking the controller, as I've heard so often. This year I decided to try it. I was feeling patient, so I said I might as well. And I can't believe how much I fell in love with the genre. I started with Bloodborne, it's true that it tested a new level of patience for me, but it's just so satisfying when you eventually manage. I loved it. And immediately after I finished Bloodborne, I platinumed it, by the way. I'm very proud that I managed to platinum it. I got Sekiro, and I loved it even more. And you asked what my favorite game is this year. It's definitely Sekiro. Like, I'm still, to this day, I still miss playing it. If I have the excuse, yesterday, the update of 2 days ago has given me another reason to replay it, I think. So I'm.
And what we were mentioning
forward to that.
before the recording, the Japanese style of Sekiro.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That was actually what inspired me to play it. That just the style I had been seeing. I'm also a big fan of Screenshot Simulator as well. I took so many screenshots.
That reminds me, actually, Sekiro Game of the Year edition is on sale on Steam.
I would really, I recommend you guys try it because
Tempting.
it's amazing, and nothing beats the satisfaction of after you've been trying to defeat a boss for over 60 plus times and you finally manage. Like
Okay.
yeah, it's brilliant. It's
Sounds
brilliant.
like my Hades runs.
I consider myself a console gamer as well, like David, but I also like to play on the Switch and PC. And this year I completed the Outlast series on PC. I'm a horror fan as well, so I took the opportunity. And now I'll definitely be playing Outlast Trials on the Switch because I hear that
good
it's coming
luck.
out on the Switch as well, and I want to get it so that I can play it while cuddling with my soft toys in bed, so it wouldn't be so scary. Switch,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys, for giving us a bit of a summary of what you've been up to. And
Neville.
yeah, we still
Yeah,
have
that's it.
Neville.
You
you
left
been
out
playing?
your sidekick, your colleague on the podcast.
Neville, what have you been playing?
I think I'm going to look for a new podcast host now.
Joseph.
Highlight of the year for me, just because it's so unique, has to be Death Stranding from Kojima Productions. It's a Sony PlayStation exclusive. I'm a PlayStation gamer. I don't play much, so this year I've been mostly just going through my Sony exclusives backlog, and I only got the PS4 like less than 2 years ago, so I had a lot to cover. So God of War 2018, Resident Evil 2 remake. I know it's not exclusive, but we're talking about horror. And today is Halloween, so I reinstalled it, and I really like playing it in the dark. That was a big highlight. Something also from Capcom that I really enjoyed actually came out last year, but I played it this year. Devil May Cry 5. I really like the character action, fast sort of game, but Death Stranding is the antithesis of that. So it's slow. It's a lot of people say it's a walking simulator. It's not. I call it.
I agree
It's a
with Neville.
Kojima game.
I love
It's a Kojima game.
It's what
Yeah,
I'm currently
just-
playing right now, and it's amazing. It's not a walking simulator, far from it.
We were saying last time,
anything.
Neville, we were talking about it last time that it predicted the importance of takeout delivery.
But yeah, you deliver packages across mountains and build zip lines and bridges, and you share this connection with other players, and in this time of self-isolation, this theme of connecting instead of fighting.
Exactly.
It really resonated with me.
The timing was brilliant.
You have a
it's a bit ironic, isn't it, that we're locked at home because of a pandemic, playing post-apocalyptic games. It's
Actually reminding me, in fact, in the beginning of this whole lockdown, I was playing with another friend of ours, David knows, Engine is his streamer name.
Yeah.
We played quite a lot of The Division, and that was on discount. We played it, and that is the whole thing. Everything was on lockdown. There was a pandemic, city chaos.
So
it was the perfect thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kind of like Resident Evil as well, then.
Yes, exactly.
But it has the connecting element as well. That's trending, right,
Yeah,
Neville?
reconnecting.
Like you can meet people while you're playing, right, Neville?
And you don't meet people, but when you build structures like bridges to cross rivers, they can show up in other people's games, and other people can show their appreciation by liking each structure that you leave. And the more likes you get, the more likely it is that your buildings will show up in other people. And then you can create a strand contract with another player, so their stuff shows up more in your world and vice versa. I actually made 3 real-life friends from Death Stranding. We're still in touch.
What's that?
It's really cool.
You had them on PS.
That's really cool.
I've never seen anything like it.
So structures that you would build would show up in other people's games. So if I had to play it right now, it would be less of a first time experience, because I would find some things which would be ready.
No, it's gated. So if you're in the first map or the second map, you will only see stuff from people who also only reached up till that point.
Okay.
Okay.
So to
Alright.
That makes
Oh,
sense.
that's
see stuff, first you have to connect to the chiral network, and then you start seeing things from other players.
Cool as well, because you can help each other. For example, to build a structure, many times you need to collect like metals and ceramics,
Like roads.
and you import them into the structure. And if someone would have already imported, you would obviously have less work to do, because someone would have already imported the materials. So you would, it's really good. There's a lot of element of helping each other and combining. It's lovely. I really would recommend you try it.
I really enjoy
It's good.
putting the baby.
if we have a so if we have a takeaway from this whole discussion, is that actually through video games we've managed to keep in touch with each other, haven't we?
Yeah.
Cool, thanks guys for that. So moving on, so our first part of the discussion was really about what we've been playing and what we've been going through a bit the last year, but we are on the eve of a new generation of consoles, and also on the eve of new upgrades for gaming PCs. We have the PS5 coming out, the new Xbox, possibly new Nintendo Switch, which has been rumored for a while. Gaming PCs reaching new heights. So my next question is, what are you most excited about in the coming months, in the coming year? And which next generation video game, or which new video game are you most looking forward to? Let's start from Neville now.
First game I got for the PS4 is Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man games, and this is probably the first game I get for the PS5 as well, which is Spider-Man Miles Morales. Love the Marvel universe and what Insomniac has done with the Spider-Man character. I like the traversal, I like the combat, the character. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Miles Morales, basically. It has a really good soundtrack from what I can see from the trailers. Yeah, apart from that, there's also a little game called Stray that has really piqued my interest. And you play it
About the cat.
Yeah, stray cat, and everyone is a robot. It's sort of futuristic. So
that also took my interest when I saw the trailer. Definitely.
Yeah. So those two, I would say, I'm really looking forward to.
Cool. What about you, Rachel? What are you looking forward to for?
First of all, I'm over the moon for the PS5. I've already pre-ordered it, and I'm already making a mental countdown for when. And as I said before, I've gotten into Souls games now, and I think my first game will be Demon Souls. I'm very hyped to try it. I've seen a bit of gameplay, and it looks
it just
amazing.
came out, yeah. The trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I had recently seen that a game about Hogwarts is coming out, and that's piqued my interest as well. It looks really good, being a Harry Potter fan. I'm very excited to try those two particular games out.
Yeah,
I think it will be the first time. I think it will be the first sort of game for Harry Potter, or in Harry Potter.
Especially open world, because all the past Harry
world.
Potter games that have come out have always been linear. Kind of there was no element of side quests, for example. But I think this one, that's how it will be. I don't really like to watch gameplay because I like to train them myself. I want to play it without any spoilers. So I don't really know much about the game, but it's given me the impression
that's a good idea, actually.
That it's an open world. So yes, I'm very excited to try those two games out.
Cool. What about you, David? What are you looking forward to for the next?
To be honest, there's more than one game. Obviously, Cyberpunk, that's the main game. But as I mentioned before, it's been delayed for a fourth time.
It's been a difficult year, I think, for gaming companies as well.
Yes, but to be honest, I'd rather they not rush it. It's been delayed 3 times. It should have come out in November, and now it's been delayed for a month till the 10th of December. The reason was being that they're finding compatibility issues for next-gen consoles and all that. Apparently, the PC version is done, so for once, the consoles are holding back the PC gamers.
They're QAing current-gen consoles. PC is ready.
Yes.
I mean, you have to consider COVID times. It's harder to work on game development. QA department especially.
Yeah, but keeping on the positive side, at least that gives me more time to play other games. I mean, there's the new Spider-Man, Miles Morales, that's coming out. There's obviously there's another Call of Duty that comes out. There's the Assassin's Creed, also the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which seems to be very, very nice. And a game that isn't as it's the first time this game is coming out, and it's not as popular. It's called Godfall. It seems to be very nice. It's multiplayer based, usually PvE. Sorry?
It's a new IP, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it's the way I would describe it, it's like a medieval Destiny. So it's futuristic and all that, but then you've got these characters that are wearing these medieval gladiator style armor, with lions as face masks and all that. It looks really, really good. So that is a game that I'm pretty excited. I mean, whenever there's a new game that hasn't been done before, it's always that bit more exciting.
Definitely, yeah.
It's quite a mix of games. Like, imagine it's Warframe and Destiny had a child.
Yes, sort of. Yes.
Interesting. So what about you, Will? You game a lot on the PC. So what's new PC-wise and
From the PC side of things, I mean, it's pretty exciting to see how hardware is all of a sudden having a massive jump. We have NVIDIA that had released, now it's 3 sets of cards, the 3070, 80, and 90. Obviously, the current downfall is if you manage to get one. If.
Yeah, because there's so much in demand, right?
Yeah, there's a stock shortage. Like, one place will get just 10 cards, another place will get 15, stuff like that. It's exciting from AMD cards. For example, they're releasing now the 6800, the 6800 XT, and the 6900 XT. And this is exciting because now they're getting on par with their competitors' level, which before it wasn't that much of a thing. They did have a good card here and there. For example, the 5700 XT. It was good for its price, but still NVIDIA was still on top, especially with features such as DLSS. And AMD also coming out with new cards. So the PC side hardware, just like how people are looking forward to PS5 and Xbox Series X, for example, PC have also these to look forward to.
Which are almost the same components that are also on the new next-gen consoles.
Yeah, the new consoles are based on AMD. Their CPU and their GPU are based on AMD. It's more of a customized version of the new cards. New cards that are coming out for PC sort of sort of half a tier on top of the consoles, or the new 1 tier up. But it just goes to show that AMD were aiming for this moment.
Cool. And what about games? What is really piquing your interest, let's say?
So, I mean, Cyberpunk is a given, definitely, but yeah, we have to wait a bit more. Also, don't be one of those people who are sending death threats, please. Otherwise,
No, that's
you're a
really-
bum.
My God.
We totally condemn that. I mean, people have to
Totally
be
not
a little
cool.
bit patient.
It is
Not
not
cool.
acceptable on any level.
Exactly.
If you are that kind of person who sends death threats, like for 1 second, put yourself in the position of those developers. Like even like the
Who
crunch
probably
they're
don't
going
have a
through
life
and all
right
that.
now.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I mean,
exactly.
definitely.
A dev owes you nothing, kind of.
So
Like, they're human, just like you.
Sympathies to the
Yeah.
producers of
And
the
crunch
game.
is not fun. Crunch is not always fun. But yeah, something else. I know for sure. I remember back when there was one of the Xbox conferences showcasing what games they're getting out planned for next year. Is a game called Avowed, which is an RPG made by Obsidian, which they're well known for the Pillars of Eternity series, for example. I mean, it's a fantastic classical RPG, the style of Baldur's Gate, if anyone is familiar with them.
Yeah, sure.
And they're basically, it's well known for being a sort of D&D style game. In fact, Baldur's Gate's mechanics were based on D&D. Last time we spoke together, we mentioned Baldur's Gate 3, for example. That's gonna be interesting. It's not adopting the D&D mechanics, but it's very close. That's right now, it's in early access, but I'm gonna wait a bit more before I try it again.
And this RPG you're mentioning, is it PC exclusive or
PC, Xbox? It's an Xbox exclusive since. I mean, this year it's been very interesting from Microsoft's side that one, they've bought a ton of video game studios to increase their repertoire of exclusives.
It made the news.
Of course. There was the Bethesda acquisition, for example, that they acquired their mother company ZeniMax. So Elder Scrolls, which Rachel is looking forward to, for example, gonna be PC, Xbox.
That.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward a
But
lot
that's we know
to
because
Elder
it's coming
Scrolls
out in after what 5-10 years. I mean that we know.
Been nearly
Whatever
10
Todd
years
Howard
since
feels
Skyrim
like
came
it.
out. So I hope.
I mean, what was the space game that Bethesda were working on? Starfield.
Oh yeah.
That we know is coming out before Elder Scrolls. They're focusing on that first. Yeah, and I mean, altogether, Microsoft has been brilliant with their Xbox Game Pass, which I mentioned when David was mentioning Sea of Thieves. Just having that Netflix-like subscription and just being able to play an amazing list of games. For example, I managed to play out of the box Age of Empires. I've played Outer Worlds. There was Forza, Halo. There's so much. You can play Gears also if you want, if you're into Gears.
My friend Pedro.
My friend, you were on about that.
Yeah.
You were so on about that. You loved
game.
it.
Oof.
When you're an assassin and the talking bananas your sidekick.
Yeah.
The mechanics of the game is simple, but it was so much fun.
But Next Gen War is going to be a pretty amazing one. It's not about who has the better exclusives because Sony always won that area. Now it's Sony with their exclusives, fine, and their mega-sized console, and Microsoft with a list of Xbox Game Pass. You can play all these games from Xbox Game Pass, and it's
a service.
It's worth it. The price is so good. In fact, when they had the introductory pricing of €5 a month, the list was getting so big it felt like a steal. So the now new €10 a month price, which we knew was going to happen, justifies it.
It's still worth it. It's still worth it. With the amount of games that you get, it's still worth it.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks.
We agree.
Will, for moving on to the Nintendo side. So Isaac, what are you looking forward to for the next month or year?
Yeah. Well, in terms of Nintendo, there isn't much I'm waiting for except the new Shin Megami Tensei game that they've been teasing, and they also released trailers for, and also the the remaster of Nocturne. That's also something I'm very interested in. But yeah, nothing much. Maybe also the Metroid 4, whenever that's coming out, because they teased that trailer as well. But just the
Yeah.
letter number 4. That's it. Where's the game? There. We're still waiting for it.
Another game probably going through development hell. So yeah.
So yeah, for in terms of next gen Nintendo, and nothing much. Because we don't even have any concrete evidence that there's an actual console.
it's
Only
all a big
rumors.
question mark.
But there have
Yeah.
been rumors that there's going to be like a Nintendo Switch Pro
Like a
sort
Pro, but
Yeah.
again, it's just rumors. Like all
Yeah.
we know, next week they could announce it. Nintendo
Yes.
is being very, what is chaotic right now. in terms
Like
of
the new
announcements.
3DS, all of a sudden.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You new 3DS. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So
New Switch.
we have no idea. That actually what they might name it, but hopefully not.
Oh, God.
Anyway, yeah, we have no idea what we're expecting for the next gen. Well, for other platforms though, I'm very excited because in terms of Xbox, there are some games that I'm interested, especially Halo Infinite. Now, recently they
Yeah.
released the Halo collection on PC, and that's great. But now I'm very interested to see the Halo Infinite, especially with some of the gameplay looked pretty, not up par there in terms of graphics, but it looks enjoyable. At least enjoyable enough to be something that I might play even more than I used to.
What about you, Kevin? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I mean, as Ike mentioned, we don't have anything concrete regarding supposed hypothetical, even possibly a Switch Pro. It might happen. I always like to say there's no smoke without fire. So all those rumors, yeah, there probably is something. Maybe if we didn't have this pandemic, we could have possibly seen a Switch Pro coming out this year. But you know how many supply lines all across the world were disrupted because of the whole coronavirus situation. So I would not be surprised at all if we see a Switch Pro coming out next year. But people can't really expect a generational leap because essentially a Switch Pro would be like very similar to a new Nintendo 3DS when that was released, or for PlayStation gamers here, comparing the PS4 with the PS4 Pro, for example. So games would still need to run on the Switch consoles that we have now, and of course the Switch Pro. So
although we're seeing a shift as well with the Switch giving the possibility to stream AAA games, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the cloud version of the games, like Hitman.
We've seen and Control.
Control.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's amazing that we can play Control on the Switch.
It is, but it's not without its problems. Like cloud gaming.
It's always online.
It's
you
always
can't
online.
go to the bus stop and play it there, for example. You have to be at home or with
exactly.
an internet.
Play it docked.
Play it docked,
Even
but it's
major
not
games like Witcher.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's actually interesting that Witcher was mentioned. Like one concern that some people have is like, will these cloud games, if they really catch on, cloud games on the Switch, will they incentivize developers to just go for a cloud version rather than really putting in effort to make a good port for the Switch? Like Witcher. Witcher is an amazing port. They put in so much effort to make the Witcher 3 run quite well on the Switch, considering how much.
Agree with that. I've been playing it for the last month. So.
Well, cloud games, I think we're gonna be seeing more cloud games. I think for sure. Will they fully catch on? I have my doubts. I'm pretty sure Nintendo will continue experimenting with other things. Like this year, for example, we saw Mario Kart Live. So who knows if we'll have something like that.
That is such a cool concept.
It is definitely. I don't think it's something that can work in every home for sure, but as a concept,
it was an amazing idea.
It's great.
There was Breath of the Wild 2 that was mentioned as well, no?
Now, funny that you mentioned that. Like this year was the Mario Kart 35th anniversary. Like nice segue here, right? And of course, next year it will be Zelda's turn, like Legend of Zelda. We're getting this year, of course, very soon actually, Hyrule
Hyrule
Warriors: Age of Calamity, which is possibly going to help fans a bit. Like we got something until we get Breath of the Wild 2, which is what everyone is really looking forward to. That said, is that title going to come out in 2021? I have my doubts, to be honest. If it does come out, it will be very late 2021. But
Or Christmas 2021, maybe.
I hope so, honestly. I think that's the best case scenario. We can't really expect it before that. Like, although Nintendo, feel free to prove me wrong. I was happy to see it earlier, but you know, if they're gonna try to come up with a title that beats the original Breath of the Wild, that's not an easy thing to do. So they're gonna take their time with that one. There are other titles, of course, we're looking forward to. Metroid Prime 4, hopefully some news on that one. Again, hopefully some news on Bayonetta 3. There's that too.
Ooh,
At least we have some confirmed. Ike mentioned Shin Megami Tensei. We got Nocturne, the remake coming out, but also Shin Megami Tensei 5, a completely new title.
Yes.
There is still definitely stuff to look forward to from Nintendo's side. Although
Monster Hunter next year too on Rise.
Monster Rise,
my God, we almost forgot about that one, and I'm a Monster Hunter fan.
That's like a single-player game, or
no, you can play.
Because I got confused.
You can play it single player. You can play it single player if you want, but it's very similar to World in the sense that you can definitely go online. Exactly, party of 4 maximum. I've been playing Monster Hunter since Monster Hunter Tri came out on the Wii, so yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
The good old
Don't forget about the Monster Hunter film as well.
Let's not talk about that one.
Yes. Up to the cringe file.
I'm hoping at least it's gonna be one of those movies where it's like maybe, you know, it's so bad it's good kind of thing. That's probably the best you can hope for the.
You enjoyed it just because it's terrible.
Exactly.
Like Doom, eh?
Oh my God.
I'm a bit hopeful for it, to be honest.
We'll see. I think the proof will be in the eating of the pudding, as they say.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, in the trailers, there were the main character was using a Rathalos weapon on a Diabolos, and Diabolos resists fire. So, like, what are you doing? So that was kind of funny.
But they have to use Rathalos weapons because it's
iconic.
Yeah.
Actually, if I have to mention myself, one game I'm really looking forward to is the new Hollow Knight, actually. Silk Song.
Nice, yeah.
So I think we should also mention that in the last years, independent games have really blown up on all across platforms, I would say, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and that is something I would say which is quite new as well. I mean, next to streaming of games, nowadays you have these small independent companies, sometimes run by 2 people, which are coming up with amazing games as well. I don't know what you guys think about this.
Yeah, the tools to create games and also design games have like been so streamlined as of late. Like you can just literally go on a website that gives you the tools to design a game, test it out, make a prototype, and then you can use a game engine like Unity or
there's so many out there.
Yeah, there's
Unity,
so many.
Game Maker.
Yeah,
the Game Maker is really good. It's really simple. Yeah. It has all the blueprints. I like how they're working with blueprints now. Yeah, exactly. They're creating like blueprints, so you literally have to just drag and drop now. It's actually, I mean, it's good that you have like a basic idea.
For example.
Yeah. Yes. I hear that Unity recently integrated it. I think the blueprint.
They have a prototype. It does, I believe.
There's an add-on already that does that. For example, called Playmaker. I wouldn't be surprised if they acquired that, just like what they did for their UI engine, for example.
Good.
And I think this has made it easy for people to express their creativity in games. No, I mean, it wasn't possible a while ago, and now we have all these amazing worlds, sometimes really long games. We're not talking about 2-hour games, sometimes games that can take hours and hours to finish, with tons of content. So
I mean, I'd like to add on quickly something that Isaac said. For example, the tools are accessible for everyone, and not only that, it's highly encouraged. For example, in Malta, with the University of Malta, they organize an event called a game jam, for example, where someone makes a game over a weekend. Like, you can come up with an idea and you make it. Those are fun, and I've done a couple, and they've even went abroad in Copenhagen to take part in them. And it's something I encourage everyone to try out. If you're an artist, if you come up with good game design ideas, story, develop it,
even a writer,
go for it.
Even a writer.
Yes.
If writing in English, or if is your thing, and you have a good plot, you can meet up with someone who's a little bit more technical. So you can come into this from different sides, either from programming, or from writing, or from designing
3D art.
3D art, exactly. So there's so many facets to it.
Even sound design in general.
Yeah.
Sorry, Neville?
Animation and compositing, there's so many different aspects of it.
Exactly. It's multi-talented, the industry.
That's also the difficulty of games. It requires so many skill sets that it's hard to actually maintain and gather everything together. That's the real challenge of actually making video games. That's what I believe, at least.
Yeah.
Though there are obviously some odd ones, for example, games. There's a game called Waveland, which is more like a platformer. You're literally just a block. You're a square, and it just moves. But the gameplay is fun. that's
Thomas was alone.
Yeah.
Thomas was alone. Yeah.
It's just one guy. Yeah, the one guy. I think they made the game and just programmer art, but it works.
I have one last question about something which is a little bit completely different topic, let's say. But we're getting more and more these days special editions of games with statues, posters, cards, stickers, keychains. What do you guys think about this? Are you... Because I also see some people who are genuinely interested into acquiring these because they are fans, but it's also become a bit of a business. It's also become a bit of a business. So I would say for me, that's a little bit the darker side to it. But what do you guys think about these special editions of games?
I don't mind them.
I personally agree with you. Even me. I mean, for me, the important thing is that I can get my hands on the game and that I can play it. Like, if I want a figurine or a keychain, I'll buy it. I'll buy it separately. In reality.
Okay.
So no, for me, the important thing is you get to play the game.
Showing up.
I might be a hypocrite by saying this, but as of late, yeah, exactly. I've been noticing the trend of having a limited edition on each new release of a game. It could even be like a new IP or something. Though usually new IPs don't always get the special treatment, at least on Nintendo side. But anyway, the limited editions are so much that I ran out of space. I don't have space to have this nice box that has a vinyl in it. Where am I going to put it? Might as well not buy it, but get the game, and that's it.
True.
So
I'm in the same situation as well.
The game already costs like €60, and the limited edition is like...
It's going up with PS5.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be 70 now with the PS5. So
I think it's not just running out of space. It's also a question of running out of money at this point.
Yeah, that's also true. Which is, I think, more worrying.
There's two kinds of players, I think. Some people who will really like this sort of special edition because they like having thing to touch, something to see, to show off, and it looks nice. But then there's someone who, like me, would probably buy the digital edition of the PS5. I download most of the games anyway, rather than buying them hard copy, unless it's a game.
Then there are people who like to collect. For example, I have a friend who's obsessed. He's collecting. So unless you're not one of those people, I like having, for example, I don't want like the special edition, but I like having the physical version of the game because it decorates my shelf, for example.
It's like a book.
Exactly.
Yeah, instead of book, you have a game. Yeah.
Back there, somewhere here at the top.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah,
PlayStation 4 ones.
I'm with Rachel on this. I'm an advocate for hard copies. I want the game in my hand. I want to see them stacked next to each other. In fact, I'm planning on having like my games room and wherever I'm gonna move
Nice.
to be like a library of games. That sort of, instead of books, actually having games from the PS1 all the way to the PS5. But when it comes to collector's editions, keeping in mind that I actually pre-ordered the Cyberpunk collector's edition purely because I thought the statue was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. I don't tend to buy collector's editions that much. The other collector's edition I have is somewhere up there behind the tens of Funko Pops that I have. I have an Assassin's Creed 2 Ezio, which is not even unboxed, still in the box. But it's different. The space is the biggest issue. Most of my boxes, when I'm gonna move, are going to be filled with Funko Pops and gaming stuff. So it's sort of moving. It's gonna be moving boxes in boxes from one room to another, basically. But yes, and with COVID affecting couriers and all that, I've heard, for example, there have been instances during this year where the collector's edition has come 2, 3, 4 weeks after the game has been released. So there are people.
Oh, wow.
So there would be people who just ordered the normal game.
Yeah,
They're playing it on release date, and just because I ordered the limited edition, I'm gonna have to play it in 4 weeks' time. Which doesn't make
sad in a
sense.
way.
Yeah.
That's really sad, actually. What about you, Kevin?
Oh, like I'm a sucker for limited editions. Like,
Look at his background.
Most of the limited editions I buy is because of this guy. He tells me, "Oh, this is limited edition." Ah, it actually looks good.
I have,
Damn it! Oh well, I guess
a
I have to buy
reputation
it.
among my friends. Like I kind of convince them to basically empty their wallets. Let's put it that way. Space is a massive issue. In fact, most of my collector's editions are now like behind, or behind monitors or in closets, like those over in the background there. There's like no space to display anymore, and yet I just keep buying more collector's editions. Like, again, there's the hope that I'll get new shelves, or maybe eventually I'll have my own place and I'll be able to display them more properly. But yeah, good luck if I keep buying more collector's editions like at this rate. Like, not even a mansion would be enough to display all of them, so I should probably control myself better, but easier said than
That
done,
ain't
guys.
happening.
Yeah,
That ain't happening.
And I think with that, we can close today's discussion. Thanks a lot to all of the panel, to Nintendo Gamers Malta, to Game Defined, to Pop Culture Rush, to Rachel. Follow these guys on Facebook and keep on watching. Tomorrow we're going to have the live streaming event for Pop Culture Online Fest. And yeah, keep gaming, keep enjoying yourself. Thanks a lot
And
to
stay
our
safe.
panel. Thank you. And stay safe. Yeah, very important.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.